The Michelin-starred restaurant hummed with quiet elegance, soft jazz, candlelight, the gentle clink of crystal. I sat across from my husband Derek, watching him sample the wine with the practiced air of someone who belonged in places like this. Our 5th anniversary dinner, at the same restaurant where he proposed 6 years ago. To us, Derek raised his glass, his wedding ring catching the light. 5 years of building our dreams together. I clinked my glass against his, the sound hollow as my smile. 3 hours earlier, I'd discovered our emergency fund, $15,000 we'd saved over 3 years, was gone. Every penny transferred to his sister Chloe's account. You seem quiet, Derek said, cutting into his Wagyu beef. Everything okay? Before I could answer, a familiar voice boomed across the restaurant. There's my little girl. I turned to see my father striding toward us, his silver hair gleaming under the lights. Marcus Sullivan commanded attention wherever he went. 20 years of building a real estate empire will do that. He carried a leather portfolio that I recognized as his business folder. Derek's fork clattered onto his plate. His face went from confused to pale to panicked in 3 seconds flat. Dad? I stood to hug him, genuinely surprised. What are you doing here? Can't a father crash his daughter's anniversary dinner? He pulled up a chair, settling between us like he owned the place, which, knowing Dad, he probably did. Derek, how's my favorite son-in-law, Mr. Sullivan? Derek's voice cracked. This is unexpected. Marcus, please, we're family. Dad's smile was all teeth. Though speaking of family, that's actually why I'm here. Wanted to discuss some financial matters with you both. Dad, it's our anniversary. I know, sweetheart, that's why this couldn't wait. He opened his portfolio, pulling out a stack of documents. See, when you two got married, I set up that emergency fund for you, remember? My blood chilled. Derek looked like he might vomit into his $200 entree. The $15,000 seed money, Dad continued conversationally, like we were discussing the weather. To help you build your financial security, smart couples always have emergency funds. Isn't that right, Derek? Yes, of course. Funny thing happened today, though. Dad pulled out a printed bank statement. My accountant noticed some unusual activity. See, I still get notifications on that account. Protective father habit. You understand. Imagine my surprise when I saw the entire balance transferred out this morning. Derek grabbed his wine glass with shaking hands. Mr. Sullivan, I can explain. Oh, I'm sure you can. But first, let me tell you what I found when I did a little digging. Dad flipped to another page. Chloe Morrison, fashion designer, opened an LLC last month called Chloe's Closet Couture. Received a $15,000 investment today. What a coincidence. Dad, I started, but he held up a hand. The interesting part is what I found when I looked into this fashion business. No inventory purchased, no website, no business plan, but there is a receipt for a vacation package to Bali, 2 weeks, luxury resort, departing next month, exactly $14,750. Derek's face had gone from white to green. It's not what it looks like. Really? Dad leaned back, perfectly at ease. Because it looks like you stole your wife's emergency fund to pay for your sister's vacation. But please, enlighten me. The waiter approached, sensed the tension, and retreated like he'd encountered a live wire. It's family money, Derek finally said, straightening his shoulders. Chloe needed help. Family comes first. Family? I found my voice. Anger overriding shock. Derek, that was our emergency fund. What if I lost my job? What if one of us got sick? Don't be dramatic. Olivia, we both have good jobs. Chloe's following her dreams. She deserves support, not your greed. My greed? I laughed, sharp and bitter. I work 60-hour weeks. I've saved every bonus, every tax return, every penny I could to build that fund. And you call me greedy for wanting to keep our emergency money for actual emergencies? See, this is the problem with your family. Derek turned on Dad. It's all about money with the Sullivans. Some of us understand that relationships matter more than bank balances. Dad smiled. It was the smile that had terrified boardrooms across the state. Relationships. Let's talk about those. He pulled out another document. Derek Morrison, employed at Nexus Marketing for 18 months. Before that, 3 jobs in 2 years. Current salary, $45,000. How do you? Olivia Sullivan Morrison, Senior Marketing Director at Providence Tech. Salary, $135,000 plus bonuses. Contributed 78% of the household income last year. Dad's voice was calm, factual, devastating. Tell me more about how my daughter's greed is the problem. Derek's face flushed red. Income doesn't determine. You're right. Actions do. Dad pulled out his phone, swiping to a series of screenshots. Like the fact that this isn't the first time you've taken money without telling Olivia. The credit card you opened in her name last year? The one you maxed out and hid? I stared at Derek. What credit card? Or the investment you made in your friend's food truck that never materialized? That was what? $8,000 from your joint savings? How could you possibly know? Because when someone hurts my daughter, I make it my business to know everything about them. Dad's friendly mask slipped, revealing steel underneath. Did you really think I'd give my blessing to this marriage without keeping tabs? Derek stood abruptly, napkin falling to the floor. This is insane. Olivia, we're leaving. Sit down, I said quietly. What? Sit down. He sat. The credit card. Explain. Derek fidgeted. It was for Chloe's last business venture, the jewelry thing. I knew you'd say no. So you committed fraud, used my social security number, my credit score, to fund your sister's schemes. She's my sister, and I'm your wife. I slammed my hand on the table, making the glasses jump. Other diners turned to stare. I didn't care. 5 years. Derek. 5 years I've been subsidizing your family's dreams while you call me greedy for wanting basic financial security. That's enough. Dad intervened, pulling out a final document. Olivia, I took the liberty of having my lawyer draw this up. Derek's eyes widened as he recognized the legal header. Are those divorce papers? Dad confirmed, citing financial infidelity, fraud, and breach of fiduciary duty, along with a police report for identity theft regarding that credit card. You can't be serious. Derek laughed nervously. Over money? Olivia, baby, let's talk about this at home. I looked at him, really looked at him. The man I'd married 5 years ago. Charming, confident Derek who'd swept me off my feet with romantic gestures and grand promises. Who'd gradually convinced me that keeping separate finances meant I didn't trust him. Who'd worn me down until I'd agreed to joint accounts. Then made me feel guilty every time I questioned his spending. Did you ever love me? I asked. Or just my salary? How can you ask that? Because someone who loves me wouldn't steal from me and call me greedy for objecting. It wasn't stealing. It was family money. No, Dad interjected. It was money Olivia earned and saved. Money you had no right to touch without discussion. Money that, legally speaking, you stole. She's my wife. What's hers is mine. Actually, Dad smiled that dangerous smile again. Remember that prenup you fought so hard against? The one you finally signed because Olivia refused to marry you without it? Paragraph 7, Section 3. Any transfer of marital assets over $5,000 requires written consent from both parties. Derek's mouth opened and closed soundlessly. $15,000. Dad continued. Without written consent. That's not just divorce grounds. Son, that's criminal. You wouldn't dare. The scandal would destroy your career? Dad laughed. Marketing professional steals from spouse to fund sister's fake business? You'd be unemployable. But hey, maybe Chloe can support you with her fashion empire. I picked up the divorce papers, scanning them quickly. Dad's lawyers were thorough. Fair, but thorough. Where do I sign? Olivia, please. Derek grabbed my hand. This is your father poisoning you against me. We can work this out. I'll get the money back from Chloe. With what? Her Bali tickets are non-refundable. I pulled my hand away. And Dad didn't poison me against you. Derek, you did that yourself when you chose your sister's vacation over our security. Family comes first. I was supposed to be your family. The words ripped out of me. 5 years of frustration finally breaking free. Your primary family. The person you chose to build a life with. But every time Chloe snapped her fingers, you emptied our accounts. Every time your mother needed a loan she'd never repay, you made me the villain for asking questions. They needed help. They needed to grow up. And so do you. I signed the papers with sharp, decisive strokes. I'm done being your ATM. I'm done being called greedy for wanting the security I work for. I'm done with you. Derek stood, knocking his chair back. You'll regret this. When you're alone and realize money can't buy happiness. Money can't buy happiness. I agreed. But it can buy freedom from users like you. He stormed out, leaving his half-eaten meal and unpaid check. Typical. Dad reached over and squeezed my hand. I'm sorry, sweetheart. I didn't want to do this tonight. But when I saw that transfer this morning, you've been monitoring our accounts this whole time? Just the emergency fund. And only because, he sighed. I had a feeling about Derek from the start. The way he lit up when he learned about the family business. How he pushed for joint everything so fast. I hoped I was wrong. But you weren't. I laughed bitterly. God, how did I not see it? Because you loved him. And love makes us blind sometimes. Dad signaled the waiter. Should we get dessert? Or would you prefer to go home? Home. I need to change the locks. Already done. My security team is there now. They'll have his things packed by morning. I stared at him. How long have you been planning this? Since the credit card incident 6 months ago. I've been documenting everything, building a case. I wanted to tell you sooner, but I wouldn't have believed you. I finished. I'd have defended him. Said you were being overprotective. You needed to see it yourself. To choose yourself. He handed me a key. This is to a safety deposit box. All the evidence is there, bank records, credit reports, documentation of every financial impropriety. Your lawyer will need it. We left the restaurant, Dad's arm around my shoulders. In the parking lot, I stopped by my car, the one I'd paid for myself, unlike Derek's vehicle which I'd co-signed for. Thank you, I said, for protecting me, even when I didn't know I needed it. Always, sweetheart, though next time, maybe we can skip the emergency intervention at anniversary dinners? Next time? I laughed. There won't be a next time. I'm done with charming men who see dollar signs when they look at me. Good. You deserve someone who sees your worth beyond your net worth. As I drove home, to my locked house, my protected assets, my father's fierce love, my phone exploded with texts. From Derek, this isn't over. You can't just throw away 5 years. From Chloe, how could you do this to Derek? He loves me. Family is everything. From Derek's mother, you've ruined my son. All over money, you heartless witch. I blocked them all. The next morning, I woke up in my Derek-free house to an email from my bank. The $15,000 had been frozen pending investigation for fraud. Thanks to Dad's quick action and my signature on the police report, the money would be returned within days. But the real gift wasn't the money. It was the revelation of who Derek really was, and who I was without him. Over the following months, the divorce proceeded smoothly. Derek tried to contest it, claiming emotional distress and demanding alimony. The judge laughed when presented with evidence of his financial crimes. Not only did he get nothing, but he was ordered to pay restitution for the credit card fraud. Chloe's fashion business never materialized. She went to Bali on my dime but returned to find her brother facing criminal charges and her gravy train permanently derailed. She posted a lengthy Instagram rant about how money corrupts families and some people value wealth over love. I valued self-respect over exploitation. There's a difference. A year later, at a charity gala Dad dragged me to, I met someone new, James, a pediatric surgeon who insisted on paying for his own coffee and got genuinely confused when I offered to cover dinner on our third date. I asked you out, he said. Why would you pay? When I explained my history, he listened without judgment, then said, your ex sounds like an idiot. Who steals from someone they love? Someone who loves money more than people, I replied. Then he deserved what he got. James raised his glass, to emergency funds that stay funded, and to partners who understand that family means protecting each other, not exploiting each other. We've been together 2 years now. He's never once asked about my salary, my father's money, or suggested investing in his cousin's startup. He has his own emergency fund, his own retirement accounts, his own financial goals. When his sister needed help with medical bills last year, he asked if I minded if he dipped into his savings to help. His money, his choice, but he asked because we're partners. That's the difference between family and users. Family respects boundaries, users see them as obstacles. Derek eventually married someone else, a woman whose Instagram bio says entrepreneur but whose business is selling essential oils to her high school classmates. Chloe still posts about her fashion dreams between shifts at Target. They're perfect for each other. And me? I keep my emergency fund fully funded, my accounts secure, and my standards high, because Dad was right about one thing. When someone shows you who they are through their actions, believe them. Even if it takes a surprise intervention at your anniversary dinner to finally see it. Especially then.